Hi there, and welcome to Hyundai Power Products. My name is Adrian, and today we're going to look at this HYM530SPE Lawn Mower. So I've removed the mower from its packaging so you can see exactly what you get. So first of all, we've got the grass bag, and that comes completely assembled. So then we have the lower handle. We'll go through the fitting of that shortly. Then we have the mower itself with its upper handle and control panel. It's all connected together by the wires and cables. So be very careful not to damage any of these cables when you take it out of the box. We have the side discharge chute. We have the battery charger in this box. The starting battery is in the smaller of the two boxes. And then finally we have this bag. It contains all the nuts and bolts you're going to need and the user manual. Now I strongly recommend that you read the user manual before use. So that's the contents of your packaging. So I've removed the battery and the charger from their cardboard boxes. The first thing we're going to do is to charge the battery. So we'll plug this into a 13 amp outlet and show you how that's done. So I've just plugged the charger in. It doesn't actually show. There's a green light here where it says off. If I plug the battery in, there's a red light here. It's very difficult for me to show in this daylight. There's a red light where it says on. When the battery is fully charged, it'll go back to a green light. So I've left that for about 3 hours now. And if I push the little button here on the charger, you can see I've got 2 green lights. So I need to leave it on charge for a little longer until all 4 lights light up and the battery will be fully charged. So, back on charge for another couple of hours. So with the battery on charge, I've just gone into the toolkit here and pulled out the 2 shorter bolts with the black plastic knobs, ready to fit the lower handle. So I get the lower handle. It's going to fit on the outside of these brackets here. If I just turn that, put it in the middle slot, and I'll do the same on the other side. It'll sit there in its swivel position. So I can get one of these bolts, come from the inside through this hole, through the hole in the handle. So I'll just place that one in position. I'll do the same on the other side. I'll just wiggle it about to line it up. And then once I've got both bolts in, I can put the washer on. I'll do that one up loosely and the same on the other side. Just tighten those up firmly now, the lower bolts. And that's the lower handle fitted in place. To adjust the height of the lower handle, you can twist these brackets at 90 degrees, rise up to the higher hole for the taller person. There we are. And if you're a shorter person like myself, you can turn them at 90 degrees. Oops. Come to the lower slot and let those drop back in. And there we are. That's the lower handle fitted. So I'm going to fit the upper handle now, and I'm going to need these 2 pieces. So I'll just remove the little wing nuts. I'll leave one washer on, and I'll take one off temporarily. And they are now prepared, ready for fitting. So I'll take the upper handle now, I'll bring it round into position. Be careful not to snag these cables. And I want these cables to pass over the top of this bar here. So I'll just feed that one in to this side temporarily. I'll just spring the handle into position. Oh, I'll go around there to see. Pop that one in. I'll take a washer, nut, start the nut. I'm going to put this into the locked position there and tighten up on the nut on the inside. And that allows it to be unlocked, you see, and locked again. And I'll do the same on the other side. Put it in the locked position, went a little far, and just tighten it down too. And that allows both handles to be unlocked at any time for storage of the handles. Bring it back into position, taking care not to cut the cables. Lock that one, and lock that one. So that's the upper and lower handles fastened together. Now for transport purposes, there's a little Velcro strap on this upper handle which we can remove, and that allows them to spring out into position. So to fit the control panel on, I'm going to need these 4 screws, and I'm going to need to use a crosshead screwdriver. So in preparation for fitting the control panel, I need to remove this wire from this handle. Now it is actually quite difficult to do unless you know the trick, which is to just pull the handle out of its location. So you've got this bar in a hole in the back, bring it down, that allows you plenty of slack, and you can simply remove that cable. Okay. So I'm going to bring the control panel up into place. You'll see a long slot on the top, we'll ignore that. A small slot on the front, that's the one where we want this cable to pass through. So I'll just pass this cable through that small slot. And I'll just place the control panel roughly in place, just temporarily. So what I can do now, I'll just lift this up, looking at the top hole here, and I'll line up my little screw with the matching hole in the inside of the plastic cover. That's one there. The lower one I can do the same. I'll just lift it up a little, passing the screw from the bottom up into the lug that's inside the case. So that's those two. I'll just do the same on the other side. I can lift it just a little to see when I'm lined up. There we go. Not quite. That's the third. That's the 4 screws in place. I'm using a crosshead screwdriver. I can just tighten up on the 4 screws. The final one. There. So that's the control panel in place. The final little job, put the cable back in the handle. So again, I'll pop the handle out, just bring it down to give myself a bit of slack. Pop the little dog leg back in there and put the handle of the lever back into the hole in the handlebars, and that's now in place, ready to go. Here's the front cable coming through that little slot, and the rear cable is out in fresh air, and that's that done. So just going back into the toolkit, you'll see this plastic clip. Bring these 2 cables down onto this bar and do up the plastic clip. There we go. And with the 2 little Velcro straps, put one up here somewhere. Whoops. Just to tidy that electrical cable there. The second one down the bottom here somewhere. That's it. That keeps all the wires and cables out of the way of the grass bag area. So moving on from the handle assembly, we need to put engine oil in the engine. So that's done via the filler here. You turn it anti-clockwise a quarter turn and you can remove the filler. There's a label here which is a warning. it says that you're supposed to use fresh unleaded petrol in the engine and that there's no oil in the engine itself. The label says that you need to use an HYM530SPE engine oil. You can use an equivalent 1030 engine oil or an HYM30 engine oil. I'm going to be using an HYM30 engine oil. So yeah, I've got this 4-stroke HYM30 petrol engine oil. And this is the oil that I'm going to be using. Now there isn't an exact quantity, but I've been very slowly pouring engine oil in. I've got a little bottle myself which I use. Pouring it in. And you'll see on the dipstick there are 2 holes. There's actually a little cross-hatched area here. We need to allow the oil to run down into the engine, so take your time with this. And then we need to dip the engine, but we're not going to screw the dipstick in. We're just going to place it firmly down and pull it back out. And we want the oil to come up to the level of the top hole. So that's the full mark on the dipstick. So I need to put some more oil in because it's not showing yet. I'll carry on. And there we are, I'm just level with the top hole. So that's the oil filled. So I'll replace the dipstick, turn it a quarter turn clockwise. That lip locks the dipstick cap or the filler cap in position, and that's the engine oil filled. So with the oil filled to the correct level, I need to refill with fresh fuel. So I can remove the filler cap. Always do this outdoors in a well ventilated area and away from sources of ignition. So I shall now I'm going to put about 1 litre of fresh unleaded petrol in the tank. So with 1 litre of fuel in there, I'll replace the filler cap and I can screw it down firmly. While we've got the mower in a handy position, I'll show you the height adjuster. Now we've got an 8-position single point height adjuster on this mower. Let me just drop it down to the lowest point, which is there. And there's 8 slots up through the length of the back here. You pull the handle out, so that will be the 2nd height, 3rd, all the way up, 5th, and then that would be the maximum cutting height. So from one handy position, you can adjust it in moments from the lowest position to the highest position. So again, while we're in this position, I'll show you the side discharge flap, or chute. So you've got the closing flap here, with its little lock at the bottom here. Pull the lock up, lift the chute. Or you can place the side discharge chute in position and close the flap which holds it there. Now for side discharge, you would use the mulching plug. For mulching only, you wouldn't need the side discharge, you just keep it closed. So that would be with a mulching plug in, that would be the mulching function. So I'll just put the side discharge back in, hook it back under there, and I'll show you the mulching plug. So if you lift the rear flap, you'll see the mulching plug here. The plug simply pulls out, so that would be the normal operation for when you use a grass bag. For mulching, or for side discharge, you put the plug in. So with the side discharge chute would be side discharge, without the side discharge chute would be the mulching method. So to fit the collection basket, you'll see a bar here on the basket itself. And on this top surface is this lip. Simply lift the basket into place, put the bar on the lip, drop the flap. That's it, that's the basket in place. It's as simple as that. As well as the battery start, this unit does have a recoil start. There's no reason why the recoil can't just live there if you're using the battery function, but there is a handy storage position up on the handle. I shall show you that. So just to show you that again, over the back with the string, through the loop, and that's it, in position. I've got my battery fully charged now. You can simply lift the flap, slide the battery into the slot, pushing it home until it clicks, close the lid, and that's the battery in position. Talk about these 2 controls on the handle. The front lever here is the OPC, or operator present control. When it's pulled back, it will enable the mower to start and it will allow the engine to continue running. So prior to pushing the start button, we need to pull back on this handle, then we can push the start button and the engine will start. If at any time you release the OPC lever, the engine will stop. The rear lever is to engage the drive of the lawnmower. So with the engine running, you pull the rear lever and the self-propelled drive will start and it will drive away. To stop the drive, release the rear handle. To stop the engine, release the front handle. Just to recap, obviously the start button is here. We pull the front handle, push the start button, the mower will start. To stop the mower, release the handle. To engage the drive or release the drive, you simply pull or release the rear handle. So one final little feature we haven't talked about is the little wash connector here. Simply with a quick release hose pipe connector, you can connect your hose pipe, turn the hose pipe on, start the engine and let it run. Maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and the water effect with the rotating blade will clean any debris from the underside of the deck. Once you've finished, stop the mower and disconnect your water supply. Well, I do hope you found this demonstration useful. For more information on this or any of our other products, visit www.hyundaipowerproducts.co.uk. I've been Adrian, and thank you for watching.